Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Mind Milk. It's the advice show that still doesn't have a decent intro. We're working on it. It's going to improve just with time and craft. Taking everyone's suggestions and working on them. I think I'm improving my presentation ability. So, just to start off, hope you guys are having a good weekend. It's a Father's Day weekend, and I know not everyone has a father in their life, or maybe they don't have a good situation with their father, but you might know someone that does, and doesn't mean that you can't celebrate Father's Day with a friend or a loved one or a family member that you hold close like a father. With that being said, I hope you're having a good weekend. It's the start of the week. I hope you had a good weekend. It's now the start of the week. Happy Mind Milk Monday as always, unless this is posted on a Tuesday because I couldn't finish the edits in time. You know me, a little preoccupied with, a full-time job, but we make do. Keep giving advice. The prompts down in the description. If you have any more questions or if you have any more advice topics that it might not mean anything to you because you might not need it, but you might think it would make for a good advice show episode, put it down in the description. Put it in the form and fill it out. So today we have one prompt. It is one question, but it is kind of a compartmentalized question, so it has different sections to it. So we will digest it and go over it. I have a pretty detailed response prepared, so I'm ready to go through it. The prompt asks, wow, can't read. That's something I need advice on, is how to read better. But the prompt goes, loving your format, by the way. I think it's working out great and it's enjoyable to listen to. And real quick, just take that for later. Thank you. That's very nice. Very kind. Really appreciate it. How do you deal with people that immediately get bad vibes from, or some that start getting bad vibes from days or weeks after meeting them? Sometimes it's awkward to be the only one who knows without really knowing, It does end with the I didn't just throw that in there. And I do. I get this a lot. You might not be going out and finding friends like crazy amounts, but you might have a good friend group of people. You might have a solid little group, and it always seems like it's like the friend group wants to add one more, and then when they add that one more, you find out that one more is that piece that you're like, ooh. It's like the sour fruit in the fruit bowl, where you take it and you don't realize it's going to be sour, and then you take it and you're like, but you can't spit it out because it would be weird to spit out the fruit. So you digest it, you're like, okay, but you don't want to keep indulging in that sour fruit. I get exactly what you mean. It's a negative feeling when you leave the first hangout and you realize that you're like, I just don't get their vibe. I just don't really understand them. And it might not even be like a negative thing. It might not even be anything like malicious. Like, you might not just be their type of friend. And that's fine. That is perfectly fine. But what I will say is first impressions are everything. I understand that. We all hear that 24/7 is first impressions are everything. Job interviews, meeting your partner, meeting someone that you want to be friends with, meeting family friends, meeting family, like new family members, everything from left and right. You're talked about the first impression being the biggest impression. It's also the hardest one. When you first meet someone, there's a lot of pressure to make a good impression. So I think a lot of times when it comes to getting a bad vibe right off the bat, might just be something that you have to wait on a little bit. Might not be the perfect time the first time. Could be that their situation's wrong. They had a bad day. They're not the best of their social abilities, and honestly, they might not feel as comfortable as you would in your own friend group. Or it might be the other way around. You might have been having a bad day. Something might have been going on in your life and you might be upset. Or that in general, you didn't feel comfortable that day to meet a new person and you were kind of pushed into a situation where you had to meet a new person. There's always a vibe and an environment question. There's always a, what's the scenario like? And again, I see the next part of this being that then from days to weeks after knowing them. And then that's when I would start to be like, okay, ask the friends. See what the friends are thinking. Because everyone else might be enjoying their company, might be enjoying their time. And then you ask them and they tell you that they're enjoying their company and they're enjoying their time. It might be a time to self-reflect that you might have to put your walls down and get to know them a little bit more. They see something that you don't see. It's not because it's a lack of something. It's not because you're instantly bad for feeling that you don't like this person. It's just that maybe you don't see it the way that they see it. And going to get to meet them and going to talk to them and learn about them, you start to understand what they're seeing. And maybe you get to open up and warm up to them more. A lot of times connections don't always happen right away. Connections actually can be very faulty at first because you can get on the wrong page with someone. And then for the rest of the time of knowing that person, that's your initial impression of them, is that first time of being on the wrong page with them. And I think a lot of people do that. I can imagine that I've done that, where someone not to bring streaming into this, someone comes into my chat, first time chatter, says something kind of crazy, just to kind of get my attention, not really trying to hurt my feelings or not even really trying to like get themselves in trouble. They'll say something kind of crazy and then I would ban them. That cuts off that gate immediately. They don't even get a second chance to, work on their conversation skills and maybe even show who they are as a chatter. But since I put down that wall, or I put up that wall, sorry. If I put up that wall, they don't ever get to be allowed back in. I believe in friends or in friend group scenarios where you're meeting a new friend, putting up a wall super early is not fair to the person that's just trying to be involved in the group. It's not like you're purposely trying to cut them out, but you also are in a way. It's tough to make new friends. Friends are hard to come by. I made a whole video about how friends are hard to come by and how friends don't always last forever. So first impression is kind of a tough impression to make the most of. You might rub people the wrong way and you don't even mean to. I understand trusting your gut is a big thing that you'll hear. And I hear it all the time is I just trust my gut feeling. I have this gut feeling about this. And although your gut can be right, and it's good to trust your gut, it's also good to realize that your friends have kind of a voice in it. It's the friend group. It's people that you hang out with might want to hang out with them as well. So you don't have to be buddy best friends with them. Setting your boundary, being like, hey, you're a friend of a friend. I'm a friend of that friend. We're both friends of that friend. You don't have to be on like best friend relationship, or you don't even have to be like super close with them. You can be in a friend group with someone that you don't really necessarily like and still function in that friend group. Happens all the time. Setting boundaries is a good thing. Nobody's ever going to halt you on setting boundaries. Setting boundaries too early is where you get into a little bit of temperate water. You might actually rub some people the wrong way because they might actually enjoy their company and you put up your boundaries so they feel like they have to exclude you or exclude them from hangouts. It's easier just to be on mutual terms. And if it just means that like in a vibe sense, you have a different body language from them than you do to your friends, and you show it off in that way. Like you're very open and talking to them. And then when you talk to the friend that you're not necessarily trusting yet, or you don't trust your gut on them, you give them a more serious vibe. Hopefully they get the hint that it's not really meshing you well. And it's fine, again, it's fine to not be friends with everyone in the friend group. It does cause a little bit of, turmoil sometimes, but eliminating the drama early is key. Allowing your friends to know, hey, I don't mind if you hang out with this person. I don't mind if I'm also invited to those events, but I'm not really necessarily open to being friends with them yet because I don't really trust them yet. Or say in a way that makes you feel more comfortable to express it is important. Now, if this is just a one-on-one relationship, this is like a coworker, or this is someone that you just met, and you really, really honestly don't feel like this is the vibe, and it's been a few times of talking to them, you don't have to harbor a friendship with someone that you don't want to be friends with. You can be kind of honest. Be like, hey, I just don't think we're really the same vibe. I'm glad to be coworkers. I'm glad to be mutuals, but I don't really want to go and do these things. They're like inviting you out a bunch. It's okay to be honest. Honesty hurts. It sucks to be honest because in a way you feel like the bad guy. But that's just you guarding your heart. That's you protecting yourself. And that's you listening to your gut. In a one-on-one scenario, you can really do that. You really can. You can just kind of X something out that you really don't want. But when you're in a group, you got to be careful about your group's feelings. And if you talk to the group and everyone else agrees with you, that, I don't know. I don't get their vibe. Speak up. Be like, hey, we don't have to have them in the friend group. This might cause turmoil. Or if it's like 1 to 2 people in the friend group that like them, hey, why don't you guys do things separately and we can all still hang out together? You don't have to force someone into a friend group. I think a lot of times people just want all the friend groups to mesh. I did that and it failed horribly. I unfortunately lost a good amount of friends to trying to mesh all my friend groups together, and one said this and the other one didn't feel like that and the other one didn't feel like that, and one got hurt that I was talking to one and the other. It got confusing. You don't want to get in that jumbled mess. Again, eliminating the drama early. You can set boundaries, you can protect yourself, and you can also work with the friend group without causing major drama. As far as other little key advice, just, I don't know, keep an eye out for them. If you think that they're malicious and they're going to hurt the friend group, alert the friend group. If you see that, okay, they've been talking crazy behind this one's back, or they've been saying stuff that's really hurtful and it's bothering this one, I can see it on that person's face that it's bothering them. It's cool to tell the friend group that you feel like there's a lot of people that are upset about something. Or it's cool to be like, hey, I just don't think this person meshes. If you get shot down, you get shot down, You might not understand the vibe, but it's good to at least put a vibe tester out there to be like, hey, how are we feeling about this person? A lot of times we don't do that, and we end up just letting this person hurt you. Or hurt the friend group. Or honestly, in a lack of a better term, replace you. Because you don't speak up, you become resentful towards the friends. You become resentful towards this person. You become resentful towards hanging out. You stop wanting to hang out. They get invited into more of the stuff than you do. And it was all because instead of talking back about how, hey, I don't really like them, but I'm willing to work it out and still willing to be in the friend group, but just distance myself from them. Or even being like, hey, what do you guys think about this person? Instead of doing those steps, when you get all bothered and step away and not liking them in the group or not liking the feeling, it's okay to realize that you should have spoke up earlier, and moving on is the next step. I do understand as I'm reading this back, because sometimes when I do these episodes, I'll read the message again while I'm doing the advice to really kind of comprehend what I'm asking or what I'm talking about. And I realize that you're not really talking about immediately friends in a friend group or talking about like how to handle that situation. You're talking about dealing with people that you get a bad vibe from immediately. In certain scenarios, it's good to send out feelers to the people that are around you about this person. If you have an interaction with them that didn't really settle you the right way, you're like, hey, can I talk to you about this interaction that I had? Talk to a trusted friend, family member, someone in your life that you believe you can trust with the information. Be like, hey, we'll say it's a coworker. Hey, this coworker kind of showed up recently. It's a new coworker, and they've been talking to me, and like, I don't know. I don't get a really good vibe from them, and they said this, and this really kind of bothered me. Am I crazy for thinking that that's not a good conversation? And if they tell you that, well, maybe this is them trying to open up, or like maybe they're just, and they have a good reason for what they're saying, and you kind of understand like, oh, okay, maybe you're right, and you give it another shot, and then it happens again, and you talk to them again, and you realize that like maybe they just don't fit your vibe. Maybe you're not just this. Not everyone's supposed to be friends with each other. Not everyone's supposed to get along. Setting a boundary quicker than later, sooner than later, I meant to say, is everything. You're okay to set a boundary. If you don't think that you mesh well with this person, that's fine. I wouldn't do it off the first attempt. I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, this person like really bothered me one day and I don't want to ever talk to them again. They're dead to me. But it is important to realize that you can say no to people. You can also be like, hey, I don't really feel the same vibe that you do. I kind of want to do my own thing. At work, it's actually especially easy because you can just be like, I'm just here to work. You give yourself a good reason, a good out. It's healthy to give yourself good reasons to step away. And it helps them find solace in the fact that maybe it just wasn't them and maybe it's just not a vibe thing. You don't have to instantly make it like a negative towards them. Maybe they just don't have the same vibe as you. They might not be a bad person. They might not even be a bad vibe. It just might not be the right vibe for you. And that's perfectly fine. That happens all the time. It happens quite literally every single day of your life. Someone will talk to you and they might literally have a voice that bothers you. I think I can think of a couple of scenarios where at a restaurant, someone goes to speak to me and I realize I'm like, oh my God, their voice literally goes right through my head. They could be the nicest person in the world and I already have a bad impression about them. Navigating the fact that your judgment on someone can really clue you into how you feel about them pretty early on is important. Observing their behavior is more important than just first impression. After the first impression, if they kept doing something that bothers you, or if you really don't like the vibe still, it's okay to step away. Well, I hope that's enough. It's kind of hard to give advice on this because it's a very general topic of bad vibes from people. I think everyone gets off once in a while on the wrong foot with someone, or someone might rub you the wrong way, and they might not even mean to rub you the wrong way. They could literally be the purest human in the face of the planet, and if they had a bad day and talked to you the wrong way, and you have that lasting impression in your head, to you, they are a jerk, they are a bad person, or they are not a person you want to be around. But one day impressions are tough. The first impression is tough. Maybe even the week is kind of tough. You never know with people. But I would say guarding your heart and trusting yourself and trusting your gut is important. Nobody's ever going to tell you you shouldn't do that. I'm just saying, if you're setting boundaries is to excommunicate someone, please do it with good intentions. Please do it with a good heart. Because at the end of the day, the person that you are getting bad vibes from is also human. They might not realize what they're doing. And that's okay. They will find someone that they can relate to and be friends with. Less drama, the better. That's the advice for today. Is protect yourself. Understand the friend group or whatever vibe you're in that has someone new. Understand how they feel. Accept the fact that maybe this is just not meant to be a working relationship. And in summary, some basic things that you should do if you're getting a bad vibe from someone. Observe and take some time to notice the vibe. See if it changes. Give it a little bit of time. First impressions are tough. Maybe even a week into it can be tough. But if it's repeated behavior over and over again and it really does bother you, you are allowed to trust yourself and trust your instincts and step away. Setting a boundary or even just actually stepping away in terms of just not talking to them anymore are healthy mechanics to get away from someone that you don't trust. Try your best to not make it into something bigger than it actually is. I know that's kind of a tough thing to say, but like at the end of the day, it's two people not meeting. It's two people not connecting. Not the biggest deal in the world. It's not worth starting drama over. It's not worth ripping into someone over it. It's okay to walk away from someone without making it into a big thing. And I think it happens a lot when someone wants to step away. They'll step away and they won't just shut the door. They'll shut the door on the person's foot. They'll be rude about it, or they'll say something that might hurt someone's feelings. So I recommend, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it. Step away kindly. Because at the end of the day, that's a human being as well. And they're just looking to make friends. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. It doesn't mean that you have to be malicious in nature. Finally, and last but not least, if it's still going on, you're still being bothered by this person, and it's not someone in a friend group, it's not someone that you have to be bygones with due to other people in your life, it is someone that's just bothering you, address them directly. You can be blunt in this scenario. If they're not leaving you alone, you can literally go up to them and say, hey, I want you to leave me alone. They can't really... What are they going to do? Anything they do in that scenario makes them look crazy. If you ask someone to leave you alone and they don't leave you alone, they are just the bad person in that scenario. You did everything that you could. And then if it continues and they're still harassing you, harassment is a violation in most scenarios. If it's not criminal, it's at least a work violation that you can bring up with your bosses. Or in general, it's something that you can bring up with friends and be like, hey, this person's still harassing me. Can we do something about it? You know, it happens. When people don't realize and they don't read signs and they don't see that someone's upset, and then you directly tell them to leave you alone and they don't, they are purposely doing it at that point. They are a bully, because bully is repeated harassment towards someone. And if they're bullying you, you're allowed to stand up for yourself. I wish you the best. I hope it never gets to that level, because it happens a lot. People in modern day life have become bullies. because they realize that nobody really wants to stick up for themselves anymore. So they're okay with pushing people around. Do not let yourself get pushed around. If you feel that this vibe has become super toxic with someone and you've already stood your ground and said, I don't want to be friends with you, I don't want you to hang out with me, please leave me alone, and they're still doing it, you're allowed to do whatever it takes to separate yourself from that scenario, and it's good on you. It's good on you. I wish you the best. I hope this advice helped. I know it's a little scatterbrained because I talked about two separate topics. Friend group bad vibes versus one-on-one personal bad vibes. But it is kind of two separate things. Because you got to imagine that there is more to take in when it comes to a friend group. Because there's more people to deal with in that scenario. But when you're by yourself, you can stand up for yourself as is. When you're with friends, you want to be able to support your friends, but also guard yourself. So I recommend taking time to evaluate situations. Don't jump to conclusions. You are your own fighter. You can fight for yourself. You can battle for yourself. And I believe in you and I trust you. Hope you have a good time. You have a good time. What does that even mean? Hope you have a good one. Please let me know if that advice helped. And I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.